I'll show the link again. But all right, hey guys. So my name is Manvinder Singh. I'm the VP of product for AI at Redis. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what Redis does in the AI stack specifically, not so much about Redis for caching and other stuff, but happy to talk offline about that stuff as well. Uh, how many folks here are familiar with Redis or have used Redis or so maybe half the crowd here. But just to give you a quick overview, I'll also do a demo. So this is not purely just slides, by the way. But this is what Redis has traditionally been known for. We're basically the data platform for speed. If you have that issue and you're trying to get rid of it, the best way is to put a cache behind your app, and Redis is the most popular database for that. It's really the data platform for speed, and that's what Redis has been known for. Uh, and because of that, it has become very popular over the last decade plus. It is now the most launched database product of any kind off of Dugger Hub. It's also been the most popular key value store on DB engines. It's also this year Stack Overflow, which does a survey every year of developers, came up with a survey of AI agent tools, and Redis was #1 in storage in that category as well. So it's a very fairly popular product. It's open source. It's also available as a cloud service. The credit link I shared earlier was basically for our cloud service. But what do we do in AI stack, or how do developers use us for agents? Basically, we have 4 products that are built on top of the Redis platform. #1, we have a vector store. Really, we have a full stack search service, and talk about that briefly. #2, and this is the demo I'm going to do real quick, is we have a semantic cache offering. So if you're trying to store your LLM responses or even API responses, and you want a natural language-based cache, we launched a product called Redis Lang Cache that is meant specifically for that. A huge use case for Redis these days is agent memory. Specifically, I'm talking about long-term memory. Redis is often used as a database for that, with things like LangGraph and Mem0, but also we have our own agent memory service that does memory management. And lastly, more traditional AI. We actually bought a company recently called FeatureForm that provides a feature store. I think Murray here joined us this week from FeatureForm. So we're also working on how do you deliver structured data to agents, because that's kind of like a very similar problem as the feature store in like a traditional AI system. So real quick on the vector store, there's lots of vector databases out there. One of the things that Redis is most known for is speed. Right? If you're looking for high throughput, low latency, looking for more real-time responses, right? If that is important for your agents, Redis is the fastest vector database out there. This is our own benchmarking, but these are open source data sets, so you can easily sort of test it out yourself. So speed is a big reason why developers like to use Redis as a vector store. Another big reason is hybrid search. Like most developers are doing hybrid search, and it's not just about pure vector search, but how do you combine vector search with text search, BM25 scoring, filtered queries, right? You really need a full stack search service, and that's what Redis provides, right? There's a lot of flexibility. There's a query language that you could use to write your own queries. So that's really sort of a big part of the reason to use Redis as a vector store. Now, the second use case, real quick. So I mentioned Redis is used as the database for agent memory. And one way to do that is, like I think the Tavily demo earlier today, if you're just using LangGraph or one of these frameworks, you can just use Redis. We have integrations with all these frameworks for like checkpointers and stores and stuff. But we also have our own agent memory service. So if you have an agent, like a travel booking agent, for example, and you want to store user preferences, you want to store window versus aisle preference, what is my preferred airline, right? What is my frequent flyer number? That is stuff that an agent can learn as part of the conversation. And we provide a service that can basically extract that information, populate a fact table. It can also do named entity recognition, but at the most basic level, it can also do summarization, right? So it's a very low-level API. You can manage memory the way you want, and then you can store that in Redis. All right. Langcache is the product I'm going to talk about and do a short demo of. It's basically our semantic cache as a service. Has anybody here heard of a semantic cache before? Okay, a few people. Redis people don't count. Uh, but essentially, the idea here is if I'm building an AI application, I'm using LLMs. Can I cache those responses in a cache in a database? So next time I have a query, right? I don't have to go and to OpenAI directly or Claude directly. I can check the cache to see either the same query was asked before, or because it's natural language, even if a similar query, a semantically similar query was asked before, right? So you do a quick vector search, and you see if that query has been asked before, and if yes, you get a response back from the cache. Uh, Obviously, this saves you a lot of tokens by implementing that. It also, actually, the biggest use case for us right now is speed as well, because it saves you several seconds in both network as well as inference time that you may have to use that API. So Langcache, we saw a lot of developers building semantic caches on top of Redis because you need a caching database and a vector database, and we have both. So Langcache is the product, is an out-of-the-box semantic cache. It's a managed service that runs in AWS and GCP, or we can also run it on-prem as well. But essentially, you just have a REST API that you can use to implement semantic caching.
It doesn't hallucinate.
I'll talk about accuracy. That is usually the biggest question that comes up, right? But actually, before I go there, there's several use cases. You can use a semantic cache anytime you're using an LLM. One of the big use cases we're seeing is for agents, because you have a lot, as you guys know, agents run in iterative loops in one way or the other, right? So the token usage can be pretty significantly high. Right? So for agents, you can use a semantic cache to optimize token use. You can also use a semantic cache in front of your tools. If you're making tool calls, for example, a good example might actually be Tavily. We saw the demo earlier today. But if you're doing the same web search or extract or crawl operations again and again, you can actually put a semantic cache in front of that as well. Right? Anytime you have sort of a natural language query, you can implement semantic caching. Let's skip this. Just one quick example. One of our customers built a semantic cache. This is like a customer service agent, right? To where agents can ask questions about when they're on the phone with a user, and they got a 70% cache hit rate, right? So that's significantly brought down their OpenAI bill, significantly brought down improved experience for their agents as well. Okay, so I think one of the big questions I get for semantic caching is how well will the queries be accurate? Will I get the right responses? Will it hallucinate, right? And so we learned a lot of things just working with developers who were implementing Redis for semantic caching, and we try to put that in Langcache, which is the managed service. So a few things impact accuracy. First of all, anytime you're building a semantic cache, you have to tell the cache what is the acceptable threshold for a query to be similar. Right? That's basically a threshold you define, which is effectively the cosine distance of doing vector search. So that's something you configure. Anytime you have a query, you're doing a semantic search, which means you are generating embeddings. So the embedding model matters a lot. And for semantic caching purposes, we trained our own model that's part of Langcache. We realized by training a model that's specific to this use case, you could get much better accuracy, fewer false positives. And we benchmarked it. We actually published a paper about this. We benchmarked it against all the popular models, right, from the big labs. And Langcache embed, which is our model, gives you better overall precision and recall.
But you're not using neural nets under the hood, or it's just standard?
No, so the embedding model is basically fine-tuned of modern BERT, right? But it's fine-tuned on just for the semantic caching use case. Another thing, just in the product, some core features, you can do namespacing. So, if you have, in my customer service use case, I have multiple products and I may ask similar questions for different products. I can have product ID, for example, and I could just segment my cache. We do behind the scenes when we're looking for similar queries, we do hybrid search queries. So it's not just pure vector search. and there's configurability in the API in terms of how you implement it. We're also soon going to add re-ranking of the cache hits, which is an optional thing that you, if you really want high accuracy mode. And then another thing we're doing is we're going to have a real-time accuracy analyzer. The idea here is to use an LLM as a judge to tell you if there's an hallucination happening or not. And based on that, you can tweak your settings as well. Okay, let me, so if you guys want to try this, I'm going to just show you what it looks like to set up a semantic cache. But this QR code is for the credits for our startup program. I think we give, I don't know how many, but we give credits. But cloud.redis.io is basically our service, which I'm just going to go to and quickly show you how this works. All right.
30,000 credits.
Okay, $30,000. And that's for our cloud service that's in.
$30,000 or is credits the same?
30,000 credits.
Not the same.
Okay. Sorry, guys, I don't know the answer. Reach out to Marie offline and she'll tell you. Okay, so this is what Redis Cloud looks like. This is our cloud service that's in AWS and GCP. All right, so you can set up a new database. There's a free plan as well, so you don't really need to use those credits, but you basically create a database, right? And that basically gets provisioned. Once you have a database, this is the link to create lang cache. But I need to wait for my database. And since I don't want to waste time, let me go to my other instance. Hold on one second.
Oh, Redis has always been in many of the hyperscalers. Is this going to be any different?
In the hyperscalers, as in AWS and GCP. So AWS runs Elastic Cache, right? And GCP runs memory store, right? Elastic Cache is basically based on a fork of an older version of Redis. It used to be they're running the latest version of Redis, but now they've forked into a separate project, and that's what Elastic Cache is based off. Redis Cloud is our own service that we run on AWS. So you can, it's.
So if you have an app that's deployed and running on AWS, you can still use the latest version.
Correct. You can use Redis Cloud. You can get the latest version of Redis. You can do VPC peering and private link and all of that stuff. One second, guys. I'm really glad that Mark Zuckerberg has lowered the bar on live demos recently. All right, so this is what creating a lang cache service looks like. I give some service name. Just 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna pick a database to connect it to. TTL basically means time to live, right, for a cache entry. So if you want your cache to be fresh and expire maybe every day, you set a TTL, but I'm just gonna send a random value. So Redis this is our native, our first party embedding model, but you can also pick OpenAI if you want. But for now, I'm going to pick Redis. This is the threshold of what I want a semantically similar query to be. This is the namespacing I was talking about. Basically, I'm defining a custom attribute. So it can be product ID or it can be user ID. Right? If I want to segment the cache for every user, I can define as many attributes I want. And this is something I will pass on in the API. So then I click create. I get an API key. And then this is sort of my management console. I can see my cache hit ratio in real time, latency, things like that. And then if I want to connect my app to lang cache, I basically copy whatever, if TypeScript or Python, I can copy the code from here. While I was sitting here, I copied this code and gave it to Replit. Sorry, not Lovable, but Lovable is equally good. And I asked it to create a demo for me. So here it is. Does anybody want to give me a quick prompt? I'm just going to send it to GPT-4. Okay,
Better than Lovable?
No, I'm not going to do that. Explain. So this is the front end app that they built, right? So it built, so explain quantum gravity or whatever. I don't even know what that means. Quantum mechanics, okay. All right, so what it's doing right now is it's sending that prompt to GPT-4 because that's the model this is selected, and it's getting a response back. There's some network latency involved, but essentially it sent it twice, and it took 8 seconds and 12 seconds, both, which is kind of what I expected. There's nothing, it wasn't in the cache because this was the first time I asked it, right? So this was why it was a cache miss. Now let me send it again, but let's change it away. What is quantum mechanics? Right, so this side, now it was a cache hit because it was already in the cache. So there was, instead of 12 seconds, it was 50 milliseconds, which is kind of what you would expect. And this side, it still went to OpenAI, so it was 6 seconds. I mentioned you can do attributes. So this was, I had selected a user number or user 6, but if it's a different user, and I do again, what is quantum mechanics? So now again, it was a cache miss because it's a different user. So it's just sending that attribute.
So you're setting it up to talk to a specific LLM at the back end, and it senses the sentence and sees whether it should send it out to the LLM or just have the response.
Correct. Yes, that's what Langcache does. Yeah. And we've seen use cases not just for LLMs, but anytime you have a natural language query, right? You can use a semantic cache even for your API calls, tool calls, things like that.
If I were to give it a prompt saying, make it more concise in one sentence, that would have to take the hit. Like if you do this and add an additional prompt to it, saying that give me this response.
Yeah, so this demo app, I'm pretty sure Replit did not add multi-turn, so it will not do anything with it. It'll send that again to OpenAI, but as part of your app, you can do it.
If I had put that sentence in there, your semantic would have figured out that I don't have this cache.
Correct. It'll be a cache miss.
So if you do that, it'll be a cache miss.
Yes. Yeah.
The response will be the same once the cache hit comes in, right? So it's.
Yeah, so the response here that you see on the right side is exactly, because it's a, sorry, not this one, but this one that's a cache hit, is exactly the same as what I had earlier, because when it was a cache miss earlier, the app had added it back to Langcache, so it was stored there.
Okay.
Can you manually upload like a full dictionary and then modify the cache responses that you have saved up during?
Yeah. So we have an add API. You can add responses. We're also going to shortly launch a bulk add API because we've seen that use case. You can, if you have like billions of queries, prompts you want or responses you want to add, you can add that. Yeah.
Can we load our own embedding models?
Coming soon. We're basically going to support Bedrock and SageMaker and Vertex AI. So you can just put your embedding model there. But if you have other requests, let me know. We also have a Dockerized version in preview. So you can just, for that, you can just use your own embedding service on Olama or whatever. Any other questions? All right, we are around. We also have a table. We have Marie as well as Mahi in the back. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Please let us know. Thank you.
Was it? That was you went well under time. So if you have any other interesting thing to say, feel free to do that.
Yeah. So I guess I'll take the time, of course. So another problem we're working on, I didn't talk about this, is how do you deliver structured data to agents? And so today we see a lot of developers are building text to SQL into their agents because if their data is in Snowflake or Postgres, they're basically doing text to SQL queries. We're hearing that is challenging and text to SQL is hard. Right? And you don't want to give your agents access to your core transactional database, which they will then hit iteratively. Right? So one of the problems we're working on, and we have an architecture for it, is to materialize data from your core database, whether it's Postgres or Snowflake. We actually have a product that allows you to create a simple pipeline, bring it into Redis, and then Redis has an MCP front end that you can use to do queries. We're going to make it very, very easy to teach your agent how to understand the schema in Redis, but then you can just use an MCP tool for that.
Nothing related to what you said.
Okay.
But so when you generate, so I am dealing with this problem about generating synthetic conversations, right? Which means it's coming out of C1, C2 graphs and it's generating that. What I want to understand is, does Redis have the capability to not just save like a bunch of conversations that have been generated, but also like some sort of caching of the personas or the graphs itself so that it can derive from it and then generate multiple, like
What is the data type or data structure like that you're trying to cache?
basically textual, so email conversations or chat conversations, anything like that.
So Redis supports, I think, 17 or 18 different types of data structures, including, obviously strings and stuff. But also we have Redis Graph as a module. So it's a pretty flexible platform. That isn't my focus, but Redis as a platform definitely does that, and we're happy to, help or connect you with the right people.
Yeah.
And you'll be here at a table for the rest
We're
of the
at the
afternoon.
table, right? Let us know if you have any questions, and we also have some nice Redis stickers and pens and stuff like that.
Perfect. Who else do you have with you here today?
So Mahi and Murray.
All right, great. So if you want to hear more about Redis, more about those 30,000 credits, you know where to find them.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Round
guys.
of applause.